So we've stopped by the booth of Super Crate Box creators Vlambeer to learn a little bit more about Luftrausers, which sounds a little bit harsh in German, isn't it? It's a bit harsh, isn't it?
It sounds a bit harsh in German, but I don't think it actually means anything in German, so that's okay, I guess.
I like the word Raus, though.
We like the word rouser as well, that's why we came up with it. So we don't know what it means, but we like to think it has something to do with diving or something.
Get out.
Yeah, maybe that as well. Yeah.
So what is Luftrausers? It seems like one of those sort of throwback games, but it also adds a lot of new things.
Yeah, it's a 2D dogfighting game. It originally started as a game jam game, so we made it in 2 days for Flash. A lot of people seem to like that, so we thought let's go back and look at what makes it interesting. And what Luftrausers really is a game about being the best fighter pilot in the world, in the best airplane in the world, and all the other people don't like that. So it's about aerial stunts, it's about barely escaping with your life, it's about shooting things, impossible odds, it's about all those things.
Yeah, the controls are really like surprising when you first sit down. You get a little bit overwhelmed because there's so much sort of like the momentum is so important when you do these things.
Yeah, so the controls are really based on that sense of falling, right? That sense of sort of gravity of pulling you down. And we really like the feel of that. We want to give people the ability to stunt and do like incredible things with their airplane, but a lot of recent games that have airplanes in them sort of put those stunts under a button where you press this combination and then the airplane will do a looping. We're like, why not just give people the responsibility to pull off a looping? Do it themselves, and that's like a big thing in all of our games. Like, let people control the game themselves and give them the responsibility to actually play a video game. And I think Luftrausers is another one of those games.
I think there's a sense of accomplishment because the first few times you dive in and try to shoot a boat, you're gonna crash.
Yep.
But once you actually manage to sort of pull up in time and pull out and get back, that's an accomplishment.
That's actually you doing that. That's not the game helping you. That's not some sort of button or quick time event or something that you just do because the game tells you to. It's because you figured out that it's a really terrible idea to dive straight at a boat with anti-aircraft guns aimed at you.
There's no sort of kamikaze bonus in this one.
Oh yes, there is a kamikaze boat, there's a kamikaze airplane in this one. It's not actually a kamikaze airplane, so you can build your own airplane in this game. There's 125 different combinations. They all have their own playing style, and they all have their own soundtrack. But one of the items you can put on your airplane is the nuke. And when you have the nuke and you die, you take everything on the screen with you. And it's actually a really weird thing to put on your airplane because it doesn't have any advantages, but it just looks really cool when you die. So we hope that a lot of people that do like YouTube streaming or just Twitch TV streaming, that people will use that as sort of like a skill boaster, you know? I can play this game without the advantages of the body part, and then when I die, I have this huge explosion.
It's like riding a bicycle with no hands.
Exactly, sort of like that, yeah, actually precisely like that. I like that, yeah.
All right, so what's the plan with Luftrausers? What kind of platforms are you planning to bring it out on? And
so we're going to be releasing on PC, Mac, Linux, and we recently, like I think this week, we announced PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita. So it's going to hit all those platforms by the end of spring 2013. So we're wrapping it up right now. We're almost there.
It's one of those cross-play, cross-buy things on PS3 Vita?
So we're still really working out the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita version and the amount of special features that they're going to get over the other games. But at this point, we're looking at just make sure that the game works perfectly, and then after that, we'll look at what specific features that we'll use. Obviously, there will be leaderboards, being a game about being the best fighter pilot in the world. You have to be able to tell people you're the best fighter pilot in the world and have the stats to show that. So yeah.
So I would imagine that it's quite different to play with an analog stick than to play it with the arrow keys.
So we're not actually using the analog stick that much. The analog stick is used for moving left and right. The thruster is under the right trigger, and the shooting is under A. Logically, or like sort of traditionally, you'd say shooting would be under the trigger button. But in this game, it's really about that sense of falling and then turning back on your engine and then back off and doing a looping and shooting things behind you. So the most important thing you do in the game is the engine. it's not shooting. Shooting is like the thing you do to kill the stuff that shoots at you, but the engine is what makes you feel and play the game. So we've been playing a lot with that, and we think it's a really good controller setup. I actually personally probably even like it better with a controller, so we've been having fun with that one. Yeah.
So that's also one thing that's really interesting and unique about it is how the health works. The fact that when you stop shooting, you regenerate health, which is a nice sort of counterbalance to sort of trying to kill your enemies and try to survive.
Yeah, so the thing we're trying to do with this game is make you feel like the best fighter pilot in the world. So we throw impossible odds at you. And we have this combo mechanic that sort of encourages you to keep going and not give up and keep shooting at things. But then the thing is, if you do that, you get into this situation where you sort of need a way to take a break and get back into the game. So the way we work that out is that there are two things that sort of do that, and one of them is the health system. And the health system is really simple. As long as you're shooting, your airplane can't repair itself because it's shooting. When you stop shooting, the airplane will slowly repair itself to full health, but you'll have like a short breather. Those are really tense moments because those are the moments where your airplane is like falling apart around you, and you're trying to get away and dodge the bullets as they're chasing you. And it's really this really tense moment that we really like.
Right. So thank you a lot for your time. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you for having me.